Unleash the power of knowledge and connect with the heartbeat of the African diaspora. Download our African Diaspora News Channel app now on Google Play and Apple App Store. Stay informed with authentic and diverse perspectives, breaking news, and cultural insights. Immerse yourself in a community that celebrates unity, resilience, and progress. Experience the vibrancy of the diaspora at your fingertips. Don't miss out. Empower your perspective today. Search African Diaspora News Channel and join the conversation.
Hi everyone, my name is Inge Stoffels from Cape Town, South Africa, and here we are looking at what is making headlines in SA today. So I'm going to take it back to January 2024, when Stellenbosch University's male residence Wilgenhof made headlines. Now, what they discovered there was shocking, but this was not the first time that this Wilgenhof male residence was in the spotlight. So in the 1980s, that is when the first article was posted about what was going on within this residence. And then in 2020, another article was posted trying to shed some light on what is happening in this male residence. And now, 4 years later, it is making headlines again. And for many students who've had to deal with this place, who had to deal with the Wilgenhof residence, it wasn't a surprise when these things came out, because they knew what was happening behind the scene. So research shows that Wilgenhof's shocking traditions dated back to the 1930s. Specifically the practices of the Nachtligte. So there is a group called the Nachtligte, which means the night lights, and they are kind of seen as the disciplinary committee of the residence. Now, here we're getting to the shocking part. This disciplinary committee dressed up in black Ku Klux Klan uniform, and what they would do is essentially dole out punishment to anyone who they see has transgressed against their rules or against the official or unofficial code of the residence. So now these punishments and what the punishments includes was a form of abuse, because the punishment included being hit or beat with broken bottles. Punishments included stripping the guys and having them admit guilt or admit what they have done to transgress, and public humiliation. So this is what the Nachtligte, the Nightlights Committee, their disciplinary committee, was busy doing within this residence, and it has been going on and still going on. So the reason why I'm bringing this up again is because we had an article in 2020. 4 years later, it's still happening. And one of the things I saw on the videos on TikTok when people were speaking about what's happening in Wilgenhof is that people in the comments were saying, oh no, but these people know the right white people in power to speak to get the story squashed. They were saying, don't worry, tomorrow this is going to be out of the news, it's going to be forgotten. Everyone was saying, yes, we're going on about it today and then it will be forgotten. And that is exactly what happened. I have not heard anything since January about what is going on or what has been going on in Wilgenhof. So, on the 22nd of January 2024, Stellenbosch University officials opened 2 locked rooms that were found in this residence. Now, these 2 locked rooms and what they found within that locked rooms was very shocking. So, this was not the first time that the university officials have been informed about what is happening within this residence. In its 120-year-old residence. This is not the first time people have been informed and people have been saying what is going on within this residence. So, they opened this locked room and the horrors they discovered were revealed. Now, many of them were, and people say, if you hear Wilgenhof, you think of a cult. Because many of the things that they saw was signs and symbols of white supremist groups. They also saw many signs and symbols like the Nazi sign. There was the Soviet Union sign with the hammer and the sickle. There was many signs all over the residence. And people asking, what is going on? What is happening? And I love what Paul Joubert wrote in his article. Paul Joubert was a student at Stellenbosch University who wrote on what was happening in Wilgenhof, and that was the article he posted in 2020. He says, I do not believe that Wilgenhof is a cult, at least not in a strict sense. He also says the absolute dizzying mess of signs, symbols and regalia, mostly from white supremacist groups, also included the Soviet hammer and sickle. Now, all these things all over the residence, I can imagine not feeling safe in there. And there was also a quote from a member of the disciplinary committee, the Nachtlichter, saying that if you were not a straight white male, you would have to try harder to prove yourself as a Wilgenhof, to prove that you belong in Wilgenhof. And that was a quote straight from him. So then Paul Joubert goes on to say, I do not believe that Wilgenhof is a cult, at least not in a strict sense. Rather, Wilgenhof is a symptom of a larger problem, South Africa's inability to escape its apartheid legacy, and old white men clinging onto power every little way that they can. So once again, the reason why I am bringing it back and making this video today is so that we don't stop talking about it. We don't stop talking about what is happening. How many people need to be abused and tortured before something happens? So some of the images that you've seen in this video is what has been seen and what has been found within this residence, within those two locked rooms. In the two locked rooms that they found, it was also seen and shown that these locked rooms were called the punishing rooms or the punishment rooms. And this is where they would hand out their punishment if you have transgressed. So let's keep the story alive. Let's not let them get away with it. Let's not let it be squashed again. I'm continuing to search. I'm continuing to comment on TikTok videos. I'm continuing to just keep the presence out there that we want to see this residence closed down. We want to see something happen. Then inside Stellenbosch's House of Horrors, that is what Wilgenhof has been dubbed, among the items were crude drawings and depictions of what appears to be male sexual assault, and there was also a logbook. Now this logbook was detailing the activities of Wilgenhof's disciplinary committee, the Nachtlichter. This logbook detailed how they would discipline, who they would discipline, and within this room there were also many names that were painted over the walls. It was alumni, it were people, members of the Nachtlichter, and they seem to be very, very proud of this. So the residents dubbed the House of Horrors. We want to see something happen.